Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to another Magic Arena Explorer video. So today we are playing a little bit of Rakdos Goblins. So this is a strategy which we have played on the channel before. It's essentially, it's a Goblins tribal deck, but the kind of the meme combo behind the deck is that you play Goblin Chainwhirler. Whirler? I keep doing that. People keep telling me in the comments I've got to stop doing it, but okay. Goblin Chainwhirler, Whirler, and essentially, this is a 3/3 with first strike that says when it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each opponent, each creature and planeswalker they control. Well, if it has Death Touch when that ability triggers, then it essentially wipes the opponent's board of all creatures. So it's essentially a one-sided wrath. So we have two ways of doing that in the main deck. We have Call of the Death Dweller, which allows us to return up to 2 target creature cards with total mana value 3 or less from our graveyard to the battlefield, put a Death Touch counter on either of them, and put a Menace counter on either of them. So if Goblin Chainwhirler's in our graveyard, then obviously we can just bring it back with this. So, put it there with a Fable, wait till it dies, whatever. And then Toxin Analysis, so if you cast this while Goblin Chainwhirler's ability is on the stack, it gives it Death Touch and Lifelink until end of turn, and so essentially has that same effect. So that's the kind of meme combo behind the deck, but apart from that, it is just a another kind of goblin tribal deck. So we've got 4 copies of Skirk Prospector, 4 Fanatical Firebrands, and 4 Cacophony Scamps, so a lot of 1-drops. So each of them has a decent different ability. So Firebrand you can sacrifice to do 1 damage to any target. Prospector can help ramp out our bigger creatures. Cacophony Scamp, if it has counters on it, potentially you can proliferate, and then when it dies, deal damage equal to its power to any target. Then our big kind of payoff goblins are a 2-drop. So we've got Battlecry Goblins, so a 2/2 for 2 with pack tactics. So when it attacks with 6 or more total power, that combat you create another goblin creature token tapped and attacking. And you can pay 1 and a red to give goblins you control +1/+0 and haste until end of turn. Rundveld Hordemaster, so this gives all other goblins +1/+1, but also allows us, when our goblins die, to essentially turn them into cards. Conspicuous Snoop allows us to play goblins from the top of our library. And then another recent addition to the deck is Zawoya Lava Tongue. So this is a 2/2 Death Touch for 2, black and a red, that says, and it is a goblin, a legendary goblin, and it says at the beginning of your end step, if you descend this turn, i.e. if a permanent entered the battle and it entered the graveyard, into your graveyard, then each opponent may discard a card or sacrifice a permanent, and if they don't, it deals 3 damage to them. So this should be an interesting addition to the deck. We will be putting things in the graveyard, we will be discarding things will be happening. So we'll see how that does as well. And then we've got our Chainwhirlers and Call of the Death Dwellers, and then just 3 Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Obviously, the creatures that it creates are goblins, helps us filter our draws, yada yada yada. We all know what this does by now. Then we've got a fair number of dual lands. So we've got 8 dual lands just to reliably give us the black mana that we need. We are running 3 Cavern of Souls as well, because it's a good way of reliably being able to cast our goblins, gets around counter spells, a couple of Mutavaults and Dead of the Bugbears. So these create creatures that are also goblins, and then a couple of basic lands and a Soken Zan as well. Then the sideboard, we've got 2 Thoughtseize, so we can bring in some black interaction. Lithomantic Barrage, so we are trying this one out instead of playing Rending Volley, just because I keep getting got by Teferis in Azorius Control at the moment. So I am going to give this one a go and see what happens with just being able to take down a Teferi straight away. Extractor Confession, so this is a new addition to the deck, a new card, so each opponent sacrifices a creature, fairly standard for 1 and a black, but if you collect evidence, then they have to sacrifice a creature with the greatest power among creatures they control. Masked Vandal is a good creature that's kind of a goblin, because it's every creature type. And we can essentially exile a creature card from our graveyard when it enters the battlefield to exile an artifact or enchantment. 1 Squee Dubious Monarch, so this is a recurring 3-mana threat that when it attacks creates a goblin token, and then we can bring it back later. And then our graveyard hate is Leyline of the Void, so not only is it in the right colours, can begin the battlefield with it in play, begin the game with it on the battlefield rather. It also only affects the opponent's graveyard, because obviously we do want to be doing things with our graveyard, so we do want that kind of one-sided effect of Leyline. So yeah, that was a whistle-stop tour through the deck. But yeah, it's essentially that kind of goblin tribal, but with the added little bit of spiciness with this combination. So yeah, let's see how we go on with this. A few new cards to try as well. So thank you very much for watching. As ever, hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already, and let's go on to the ladder. Yeah, this looks like a decent starting hand to me. We've got a good 1, 2, 3. So the opponent's on some sort of Rakdos deck, so they can take off Fable of the Mirror Breaker here, which is a little disappointing, but can't be helped. Fanatical Firebrand, here we come. No, that's not going to help you now. So that's a dead card, which is good news. So let's send in our Goblin, play Battlecry Goblin, I think, here. Preacher of the Schism's a problem. So I think what we should do here is ping the opponents, Call of the Death Dweller back our Firebrand, kill their Preacher, it was a little mana intensive that, but I think worth it. Card intensive, rather. So the opponent is playing vampires, so let's just pop some creatures into play. Sure thing. Decline. Okay, well, let's bring back Battlecry Goblin and Firebrand. Let's put Death Touch counter on this, Menace counter on this, blow up their Goblin Shaman, attack for 1. Oh, I could have. Yeah, that was not a sensible move. I should have activated the pack tactics of that Goblin there. Should have activated the ability. Interesting. Okay. I think this is fine. I think they lose whatever here. Okay, so we made a little bit of a mistake towards the end there, but didn't cost us. So the opponent is on vampires, kind of, although it feels a little mid-rangey actually. We did see some vampires, but they are also running Archfiend of the Dross. So I think we want to extract a confession here because it's a good way of taking down vein rippers and things like that. Thoughtseize as well. Squee. We'll put in Squee as well, actually. I quite like having Squee here. What are we taking out? So let's get rid of Zawoya, I think. A little too cute to be reliably doing that. Trim a couple of Cacophony Scamps and a Prospector. Keep most of the rest of the deck the same. Yeah. Don't really have a decent answer to Call of the Death to Archfiend of the Dross in the main deck. So I think Extract Confession will hopefully do some work for us here. Ugh. Yep, this will do, so let's pop back Toxin Analysis. Yeah, let's pop back Toxin Analysis while we don't have anything to do with it. Yep. Also good in terms of making their duress useless. Okay, this is an interesting choice here, so let's play one Rundveld Horde Master. Offer them the trade with Prospector. Interesting that they're going to take it. Okay, very happy to lose another land there. Still nothing. And another land comes off the top. Okay, well, let's bring back both of those. So let's give our Prospector Death Touch and our Horde Master Menace. Pass the turn. Okie dokie. I think it's go hard or go home at this point. Oh yes, oh yes. Let's have a blank draw from you, I think. Yeah, that's not terrible. Ooh, that is spicy AF. So let's activate our Mutavault. Do this in the right order. So I think this is just lethal. Does look pretty lethal, doesn't it? And it is. Very good. Goblins for the win. It's better overall. fairly classic opening. Sadly, we do not have Goblin Lackey in this format. Okay. Well, let's get Zawoya Lava Tongue into play. And let's see how they choose to play this. I will attack. Presumably they're playing rogues here and they're holding on to either a fatal push or a... Yeah, it was either going to be one or the other. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get Fable online here. They've used 2 fatal pushes, so this could be a control deck, actually, given it's Castle Vantress. Let's ditch one of our Battlecry Goblins. Okay. Grundveld Horde Master it is. And they're not going to be countering it, so they're going to have to kill my Goblin token. Yep. I presume they selected the wrong mode there. Slightly awkward. So let's have Battlecry Goblin. Pump all of our creatures up. Yeah, can't do that. Okay, so the opponent's running Dimir control, so I think we want Thoughtseize, obviously. Don't think we need Toxin Analysis here. Do we want Leyline of the Void? I want Squee for sure. Leyline of the Void. So they are probably running Dig Through Time, probably running Memory Deluge, maybe running Torrential Gearhulk. Does that make it worth, taking 4 slots up? I don't know. I don't know if any of their I don't know if any of their graveyard matter spells are quick enough that it's important to actually stop them. So I'm going to say that it's not. Yeah, this is another good hand. Okay, so whatever we play here is probably going to get fatal pushed. Maybe it isn't. So I think of the cards in my hand, Snoop is probably the least impactful. So I think I'll play that into a potential counterspell. Okay. Drag the canal. That's interesting. I've not seen this card played before, so hang on a sec. Credit and then Reserve Wearer of Faces. Okay, there's a lot going on here. So let's have Rundveld Horde Master, Skirt Prospector, attack with Conspicuous Snoop. Yikes, okay. Well, at least it gets those cards off the top of our library, I suppose. Okay, this is an unusual build of Dimir control, but I kind of dig it. So let's have another Snoop. Play a Prospector from the top of our library. Pass the turn. Not thrilled about the prospect of double blocking this, so I don't think I will. Very much risking another mass removal spell here, but you know, you pays your money, you takes your chances. I think we just have to flood the board and hope for the best. No, I will not be sacrificing my entire board, thank you. Okay, at least we have a blocker for Lazarv now with our Cacophony Scamp. Meh. Press pass ashore. No, they're certainly having a good go at our graveyard here. Sure. Why not? Okay, that's a good one to have off the top, so let's make that uncounterable. Ooh, and another one. This could get pretty spicy. So let's activate these. Send in everything but the Horde Master. Okay, you can have your reserve become a copy of something, but it's not going to do much for you. Very good. Well, this is a terrible opening hand. Okay, it's happening, folks. Let's put back Call of the Death Dweller here. So the opponent's on mono black. Again, could be vampires. There are a lot of vampires running around the format at the moment. Okay, maybe more classically sort of mid-range deck. I kind of want my Prospector to survive because I want to set up this Chainwhirler sitch. That's an unhelpful land in this situation, but... Okay, let's just keep flooding the board. Start working up towards our... I mean, I don't mind sacrificing one creature to get the combo off, but I'd rather not sacrifice two, because it kind of defeats the point. Okay, Fable's a decent one, so... let's just cast that. Pass the turn again. We are going to have to be a little careful here, just because... they're going to be drawing a lot of cards, although they're not hurrying to use their Bankbuster. I wanted that land. Why are you like this? Okay, this is interesting. Not necessarily how I would be using my Tenacious Underdog, but you do you, I suppose. I don't think it's worth saving 3 damage here. Okay, well that is at least a land, so let's not discard. Play Den. Okay, that's fine. Just gives me more targets for my... oh well, I mean, we may as well do it now then. So let's go to full control. Let's turn this into red mana. Play Goblin Chainwhirler. On the stack. Toxin Analysis. Target Chainwhirler. Pay black mana. Resolve. We also gain some life as well, which is fun. Yes, yes, draw with your Bankbuster. Do nothing else. Okay. Let's draw with our clue. None of this is very interesting, but let's just attack for as much damage as humanly possible. Then at least next turn we can start copying our Horde Masters. Oh no! Oh no, 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 no! You don't want to be doing that at all. Okay, they're dead. So, I think Leyline of the Void is a good shout here, because I'm probably not bringing in anything else. And let's lose our Fanatical Firebrands. I don't think they're doing us much good. Apart from that, I think this combo works quite well in this matchup. Well, we made it happen once, at least, so it's good enough for me. Yep. Stick Leyline of the Void into play. Call of the Death Dweller is decent here to set us up for later. No turn 2 play is a bit rough. But the Goblin Chainwhirler is a good answer to Graveyard Trespasser, because it can just... Ha! Interesting. Well, I'm not thrilled to see that, but... And I don't want to use Chainwhirler yet, so let's just pass the turn and stare at this Obliterator for a minute. Yeah, I wouldn't get rid of the Chainwhirler if I were you. Ooh. Ooh, and that's a bad miss. Good thing about this is it only does 1 damage to the Obliterator. I think I'll just sack my Ley Line of the Void here, to be honest. Hot diggity damn, we should do that every week. Okay. So that was Goblins. Goblins having a good time. Let's open a Lost Caverns of Ixalan pack. Yeah, I mean, there is this deck does have some game. You know, it's like it's red aggro, but with a little bit of extra spice. You know, we did get both of these combos off in that last game, so the Chainwhirler plus the Toxin Analysis, and then the Call of the Death Dweller version as well. So this adds a little bit of consistency to it, I think. You don't really want like 4 copies of this flying around, but yeah, no, that was good. Some decent. Well, I mean, yeah, we didn't really need that much of our sideboard either, just the main deck is quite resilient. Not 100% convinced by Zawoya here, but we didn't play it hugely often. But all of the rest of the deck, Rundveld Horde Master and Battlecry Goblin doing great work as usual. And it was good fun. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Here's the deck list one more time, so let me know what you think in the comments. Hit those like and subscribe buttons. As always, you know what I'm going to say. And I'll see you next time.